Today is June 17th, Monday, 2024. Half of the year is almost over. This morning, I was reading this book, Present Moment, Wonderful Moment by Thich Nhat Hanh. I have been reading a lot of Thich Nhat Hanh books and following Buddhism closely. I also follow some Hinduism practice and recently started learning a little bit about Christianity. Now, some may say, why am I trying to learn so many different things? I don't really know the real answer. Maybe all of these are resonating with me, which is why I tried to have my breakfast kind of mindfully. Today I'm using this cup, Find Joy in Everyday Blessings. This is a cup also from dollar store I bought a while ago, maybe a year ago or something. This is one of my favorite cups. I like cups with good and inspiring writing in them. Kind of helps me to focus on the good about things when I read them. It was interesting yesterday. It was in the afternoon after I took a shower. I was doing a little puja, and then I rang the little Tibetan bowl that they had, Tibetan singing bowl, I think they're called. I bought it several years ago. We didn't always use it, but recently with puja and mindfulness practice, I have been ringing it almost every day, sometime once a day, sometime twice a day. And in Thich Nhat Hanh's book, he refers it as bell of mindfulness, and he talks about inviting the bell, because they call it as inviting the bell like a friend rather than striking a bell or hitting the bell, because inviting the bell is more gentle. And so yesterday when I was doing that, it was interesting. Alice, my 8-year-old daughter, she was telling my mother-in-law downstairs that, oh, that's bell of mindfulness. And my mother-in-law, she asked her again, what is that? And then Alice says, it's bell of mindfulness. That made me feel really, really good that she was connecting the dot in her mind as we read Thich Nhat Hanh books here and there. We used to read almost every night for a while, but recently we're not really reading it every night, but here and there we do. And last night I was reading, I have like, I don't know, 6-7 books I think I have, maybe 8. So last night I was asking her which book she wanted me to read, and she told me the one, Prajna Paramita. And that book is a little hard for an 8-year-old to understand. So I was telling her, I'm not sure if you will like it. But then I started reading, and then she was like, that's boring, which I get it. For an 8-year-old, it'll be pretty hard to understand. So then I asked her which other one she wanted me to read, and generally she tends to like it, the one which most of Thich Nhat Hanh books so far I read is like that. It has they are kind of 1 or 2 pages each with the title, like this one have washing vegetables, and it is just 2 pages, and then if you go to another page it'd be like washing feet, it's about 1 page, and similarly something else, driving the car, 1.5 page. Anyway, so I asked her if she wanted me to read this book, Present Moment, Wonderful Moment, and I tried to entice her with, see, there's a tea kettle and a teacup, and instead of that she wanted me to read the little book which is called How to Love. So I started reading that, and I think I read for about 10 or 15 minutes. Initially she was a little impatient, but then after a couple of pages she quieted down, and then by the time I read about 15 or 20 minutes, I think she fell asleep. So this morning when I was eating my breakfast, I was reading some Thich Nhat Hanh book, like this book and this book, and then also was looking up the nearby Thich Nhat Hanh practice center when their next meditation is. I attended one online session. It was half day where they had meditation, a qigong, and mindful eating as part of the half day session. I was thinking maybe not in this month, maybe after Alice's arm gets better and the doctor's appointment gets a little bit in control. Right now we have like many, 3-4 a week. Then maybe I'll attend one session. Looks like every month they offer one in person and one virtual, so it'll be nice to attend an in person sometime. So as I was exploring through that, I saw one of the teacher from that center has in her profile on the site said that she worked with Thich Nhat Hanh for the book The Sun, Our Heart, and that is a sequel to the book The Miracle of Mindfulness. So I looked through about those 2 books, and it seemed like those will be something, that Miracle of Mindfulness, where I can learn more about meditation, and The Sun, My Heart, that book teaches more about how to be in the present moment. And one of the book summary that I just saw on YouTube to understand a little bit about that book is where Thich Nhat Hanh talks about, I think, how he when he was initially when he was a monk at Plum Village. He was a monk when he was 16 years old, but at that monastery he used to wash dishes for hundreds of other monks, and there was no advanced things there to wash dishes. He had like freezing cold water and all that, and he just washed them just to wash them. And watching that video, it's those little things that makes you think differently, where now when the monks they wash the dishes there, they get to have a cup of tea after that. His point of view, Thich Nhat Hanh's point of view, is you want to wash the dishes because you want to wash the dishes, not because you're looking forward to see the clean dishes. And because if you're doing that, you're already waiting for the cup of tea, and we were drinking the cup of tea, you're already thinking about the next thing, which is what we generally do in our daily life. We are looking for the next thing and the next thing. And And that's the thing that we learn as we grow up. Um, Unfortunately, we teach that to our kids, and we learn this too. I mean, 40s and all my life I did that, the next thing and the next thing. Like Alice and I, we practice this thing sometime to get to the present moment and do the mindfulness practice. We practice with our bodily senses: nose, eyes, ears, taste, and the bodily sensation. It's cold or hot. And so normally we focus on 5 things, like 5 smell, 5 sound. So yesterday when we were in bed, she was a little tired, so she said, oh, okay, we'll practice only with one thing. I'm like, yeah, of course, let's do just one thing. And then recently we started doing another thing, which is the 6th sense, which is our mind. So I start to think what's in our mind, and interestingly enough, in my mind, even if it's a good thing I'm trying to think and it's in the past, and I was asking Alice what she is thinking, and she said, I'm not really thinking anything, and then she said, I'm just thinking the words I'm gonna speak. So a friend of mine, I remember a while ago, he said that kids are by default, they live in the present moment, which is so true. And unfortunately, the way we all grow up, the way we look at life, the way we keep going to the next, to the next, to the next, whether it's work or study or extracurricular, whatever the thing is, and we end up teaching our kids that and I don't really know when the switch happens. So I'm glad that Alice is taking some interest in mindfulness practice when she's at this age, when she's 8 years old. So hopefully some of this practice will help her when she is much older, because no matter how much we try, I was reading a book yesterday where they say even if in a kid they grow up in the happiest of environment, they still learn some coping skills that later on doesn't work in their advantage, or it's not necessarily as good, because we all human, as all human being, we express things, but there are things that we don't express, and we just figure out our own ways, and it's okay. Life is not perfect. Life doesn't have to be perfect, but more we have these tools in our toolbox, when an adverse situation happens, we are able to use them to help ourselves. So that one thing is, we don't go down in the downward spiraling thought ourselves. Also, we don't bring the people around us, our friends and families and even co-workers, in that downward spiral. In fact, it'll be good to help ourselves to find peace, and also to help others around us to find peace. And the first step to this is to find peace for ourselves, because we cannot give others what we don't have. So we have to figure out what are those things in the toolbox that can help us to feel happy, you feel pleasant. Like in Buddhism, they would say pleasant feeling. There are 3 types of feeling: pleasant, neutral, and unpleasant. By default, our mind goes to the unpleasant feelings from the past or worries of the future, which are, in Sadhguru's terms, those are just the images. Only reality is now what we are living, because we don't know if there will be an earthquake tomorrow or whatnot. We might die. We don't even know what could happen tomorrow. And yesterday, whatever happened yesterday or in the past, in my 40 plus years, I cannot go back and change anything, even if I want to. And that is for everybody. So best thing for us is to live in the present moment. And in Buddhism, how they would say that your present was shaped by your past, and your future will be shaped by the present, because present is what will become the past when we are living the future. When we are tomorrow, today is past. So we can live a wholesome life today to create a better future. Now, our conscious mind and subconscious mind, subconscious isn't always in action, even if we want to or not. So to train the subconscious mind, we have to use the conscious mind, and mindfulness helps us to make the conscious mind more active. One of the best ways is first to do meditation, and I like Thich Nhat Hanh's approach, because he talks about you can make every experience throughout the day as a meditative experience. You don't have to sit down an hour and focus on your breathing, because then it might make it feel like a chore. Now the other side is that if you are thinking that how to make every situation meditative, now if you are washing the dishes, brushing your teeth, drinking a cup of coffee, or eating lunch, or exercising at the gym, or reading a book, now it might make you feel like that is very tiring, because you are living each and every moment, which in some aspect is true. But the alternative is not good, because the alternative takes us to the autopilot. And what I figured is, when you start doing mindfulness practice, and when it kind of becomes like a habit, like making these videos, thankfully in a good way, has becoming a habit for me. I have been making it now, I think it's almost 3 weeks. Yeah, it's a Monday, so I started it about 3 Mondays from now. And yeah, it has become a good practice. And hopefully, I'm talking about 3 weeks, and 3 months from now I will be even in a better spot, because I'm still learning, and I'll be learning even after 3 months. But hopefully I am able to live more mindfully. I'll be honest, a year ago, if I complained about something, or if I got mad about something, it did not bother me. And it did not bother me because I was not mindful. I was living in an autopilot, because I was just going to the next. I did not think what I did yesterday. I did not think what I did an hour ago. But now with the mindfulness practice, if I get mad about something, it bothers me. It stays in my head. If I complain about something, it stays in my head. Now, it's not good for your physical body to internalize those feelings either. So in the past, I would express it outwards, and sometimes with my words very rarely probably I would internalize, but as I started this practice slowly, some of it I'm internalizing, and some of it I am able to let go with the mindfulness practice. The goal of mindfulness practice is also to learn how to not internalize those emotions, how to let them go, how to accept yourself as is. If you want to work on something, you work on some things and to make it better, but that doesn't mean that you don't accept yourself as is. If nobody is telling you you are beautiful, you tell yourself that you're beautiful. If nobody is telling you that you are not good enough, you tell yourself that you are good enough. Now, if nobody is telling you you are not loved, you tell yourself that you love yourself. So that is some of the aspect of mindfulness that I have learned. And I try to every day, in most of the videos I started focusing on this, and I'm glad that I actually noticed in, I think, one of the book review or something, I was looking at Thich Nhat Hanh's book, where he refers it as that if you are trying to hold on to anything that is changing, then life becomes suffering. And in life, everything is changing. Even we ourselves are changing. So nothing is constant. But I'm glad that I found some constant that is there no matter what, every day, and will be there until I die. And they are the Mother Earth, the sun and the moon, the blue sky, the clouds, the trees, and hopefully the clean water and the clean air that I breathe in. And he says in that section that if we hold on to the things that are changing, that we can't find peace. So the only constant are those things in our lives. So if we can find peace from those, and if we can hold on to those, then the everyday things in our life, they may bother us, but it won't be beyond something that we can manage. Because peace is within us, and peace and happiness is how we define it ourselves. Peace for me could be very different than what you say peace for you is. So for me, this is what I define peace is. Now, every day when I tell Alice that I love her, and she tells me I love you more, and I tell her I am grateful for you, and she says I'm more grateful for you, and things like that, and she gives me a hug, does it make me more happy? Of course it does. I love that. And I feel so grateful for that. At the same time, I have to remember that she's 8. Add 5 years to that, she'll be in middle school. She'll be a little less attached to me, more probably would be wanting to spend more time with her friends, and add 10 years to it, she will finish her high school and will be going to college. She might even leave the house and go live in the dorm. So I have to remember that, not cling to the things that are changing. And it's very hard for a mom, especially if a mom of an only child. I know it's probably not any less difficult for a mom who has several kids. My mom has 6 kids and I'm the youngest. And I'm pretty sure when some challenging things happen with me, my mom feels equally sad the way I do for Alice. Recently Alice broke her arm, she's getting rashes, and the constant sickness and doctor's appointment are going on for a while, and I'm I'm sure my mom feels really, really sad. On the phone, sometimes she feels sad that Alice, as a young kid at this age, she's going through so much. But what can I do? We have to learn to live with it. We have to be strong. I teach Alice that she's very strong, and for sure, for being an 8-year-old, she's managing it well. I know there might be so much frustration for her arm and rashes, but she's doing it very gracefully, especially for an 8-year-old. Yesterday I was telling her, because I saw the quote somewhere, and it reminded me, which I knew a while ago, that Napoleon Hill, in his book The Think and Grow Rich, he talks about every adversity brings with it a seed of an opportunity which is similar or greater in nature. So basically, whatever the adversity is, it also has an opportunity with it, which is either equal or greater. So we just have to look for the opportunity. We have to learn. Yesterday I was watching a TED Talk, a video which was referred in a book, and in that the person was talking about transformation. When something really, really terrible happens in our lives, that something that might have caused trauma, after that we have the option to transform ourselves or try to live the same life. If we try to live the same life, what happens is the similar type of thing continues, and but it also gives us the opportunity to fully transform ourselves. And in Joe Dispenza's term, it will be as if by changing many different things, we almost have to become someone else. It's definitely not easy, because Joe Dispenza also says that after 35 years, what we learn in our brain, it becomes stagnant. It is not easy to transform ourselves, because we almost act like a robot, even if we want or not. I think there's a percentage of it too. I mean, of course, subconscious is about 95%. Maybe somewhere I saw 96 or something percentage. Our mind, body wants to just do the same things what we did until the age of 35. So your wish to change and transform yourself has to be more than acting and behaving the same way that we have done all our life. So for me, where I come from, to me, anything more than 1% is a big enough percentage. And I say that because in my life, a lot of the things from where I came from and what all happened in life, whether in a good way or bad way or whichever way you're gonna say it, it's not a normal course for somebody who was born and lived that early life. My life has changed in a big way, and sometimes it seems so different. It almost seems to be like, was it a different life? And perhaps that's what it is, that I became someone else, and from this someone else, I have to become someone else to transform. Because in the recent past, 6-7 months ago, all of a sudden when I was working 24/7 and suddenly got laid off, and a few other cascaded events happened. Life was traumatic. Simple things created some trauma, which I'm getting over, because they say you want to heal that trauma, because if you don't, then your life continues the same way. And I'm trying in many different ways, and I'm getting there, and I'm grateful that I'm on this path. Now, is it always easy to feel that gratitude that all this happened? I went through that cycle, and sometimes I would feel grateful, and sometimes I would feel angry, sometimes sad. But I think I'm getting there, where I feel that yes, this is the plan from the universe, from God, that sometimes God knows what's better for us than what we know is better. So for the rest of my life, how many years I have remaining to live, I don't know, 10, 20, 30, 40 years, probably no more than 50. Because I don't see myself that I'll be living until 100. I want to live a more peaceful life, more living in the present, and hopefully I get to live my life as a good example to Alice. I want her to have a better life than me, and when I say better, I don't necessarily mean with money or fame or power. I mean a happier life. Contentment life is where she is more content with what she has, and that's the wisdom. That is the wisdom that we can learn. Be happy with what we have. Be grateful for what we have, not what we don't have, because there is always endless things that we could desire in our life. And desiring is not bad. It just keeping it in perspective is important, and hopefully I can teach her some of that, and along the way I learn it for myself. So with that, I'll take a few deep breaths and finish the video.